are very few things that we agree on.
It's kind of astonishing that we're still cordial and friends.
I know. Yeah, because I disagree with nearly everything that comes out of your mouth.
And that's the type of content you're getting here on the Steve and Kyle podcast. That's right. Hot takes on 23-year-old Adam Sandler films that nobody's thought about in 22 years.
Nothing makes sense. Down is up, white is black, and I'm so confused about everything.
You're going to mosey on down in your waiter boots to your local watering hole, and you're going to skim the top layer of the frothiest pond scum this town has to offer, and you're going to put it in those mason jars.
Yep.
Go deliver that 12-pack of jars to your new arch nemesis, your neighbor.
Still haven't seen The Neighbor.
Good. Means you're following the order of the world, Steve?
What would you do if 1 week, say this spring or this summer, you come over to record the podcast, and I send you a message, say, hey, come on down, just let yourself in, come on downstairs. I'm already set up in the studio, and then you get down here, and there's an unknown gentleman sitting in your chair, and I say, yeah, Kyle, this is my neighbor, Ricky. He's going to sit in on this episode.
I'll tell you what I would do. Is I would make friends with your neighbor Ricky, because that doesn't apply to me, because he's not my neighbor.
Okay.
I can become this man's friend because as far, you know.
So you can, but I can't.
Yeah, he's a stranger to the nth degree to me.
Okay.
But to you, he's I wouldn't call him a familiar face. He's a face that is in your neighborhood. And as the polls dictated 1 week ago on this podcast, Steve, listen, the rules are the rules. You can get mad at them all you want, but they're there for a reason.
By an overwhelming margin of what?
2.2. There's 2 total votes separated it. But without rules, Steve, there's nothing but chaos.
Yeah.
And without rule, where would we be without rules?
It's true. Very true.
Ridiculous.
I apologize. It is Sunday, February 17th. 2019, the year of our Lord. It's the Steve and Kyle podcast. Actually starting on time for once today. Like we had a line in the sand. Said we need to be recording by 10:15 or something because Annette has a violin lesson at 12:30. So
yeah, we're trying to keep
we cannot go past 2 hours and 13 minutes.
That won't be a problem.
That will not be a problem at all.
Wanted to ask you, because, well, first of all, to wrap that up, we're going to try to stop doing that. We've done it in the past, and some days it's worse than others where, we've talked about the one kid, just awful. Just zero improvement. You've been doing it for like 6 years, and it's just like me banging a stick against a wall. That might even sound better.
Music authority, folks. Kyle. Music authority.
Not that hard. Drag the horsehair thing across the other ones and
Yep.
Stop trying to screech.
That's how they teach you.
For God's sake.
That's Stradivarius himself. That was a person, right?
Is that a... I would have thought.
Yeah,
I thought you were mentioning a violin brand.
He was a guy and then made violins.
I don't even know how I would type Stradivarius. This reminds me of the time you stunned me with your knowledge of the creation of the helicopter, and you knew the guy's name.
That was No, it was what the hell's his name?
Was it the third Wright brother who was all mad?
Like Elmer.
The other two are sitting there on their stupid wing thing flying over a cornfield. So this guy decided he'd had enough of this nonsense.
Yeah, but it was like the precursor to the helicopter. So it was like that thing that had an umbrella on the top, and it just bounced up and down. So
one large piece of sleet, and he would just go crashing to the ground.
Yeah.
It's Antonio Stradivari, Steve, is who you're thinking of. He's an Italian luthier. Luthier?
You're just saying it the same way every time.
Luther. There's an I in there, but it might be silent.
Yeah.
and a crafter of string instruments such as violins, cellos, guitars, violas, and harps.
They go for like millions of dollars.
The Latinized form of his surname, Stradivarius, is a term often used to refer to his instruments, Steve. So very, even this age, listen to this. Born in 1644, died in 1737. Not many people live into 93.
Yeah, good for him.
In that era, right?
Good for him.
What do you think the life expectancy in the 1600s was in Italy?
Oh, I bet 40 years maybe, 35.
And this guy doubled it.
Zach?
No. We speak on authority, and then we let Zach tell us we're right.
Okay, fair enough.
So, yeah, I mean, this guy was expected to live to 38. 17th century English life expectancy, Steve, 35
Look at
years.
that. I nailed it.
That's largely because infant and child mortality remained high.
Mm-hmm.
Way to bring the room down.
So,
hey, want to talk about those baby deaths? 17th century Europe?
How are you feeling this morning, by the way? You good?
Oh, I feel great right now.
Spring chicken?
Feel great right now, Steve. I usually bounce back okay in the mornings. I'll lose a little. I'll be a little sleepy come mid to late afternoon.
It's prime nap weather. We got the snow falling. Yeah. But yeah, we got together for another Steve and Kyle family game night last night. Played, is it Code Names or Code Words?
Code Names,
which we failed miserably on once again.
Awful game.
We played Settlers of Catan, which, boy, I am just terrible when it comes to strategy-based board games, where you have to like build an army or anything that is other than like simple point getting. I am just not on board with. I'm happy to play because I know that my wife loves to play, everyone else loves to play, and I genuinely enjoy it. But boy, am I just stupid. It was this game probably took us an hour last night.
It was probably an hour and a half, yeah.
And I would say 85 minutes in, I made the statement, "Oh, we're trying to get points? Oh, this all means something?" Because I had no clue when the game would end. I didn't know if I was just looking around the table waiting for someone else to claim, "I did it, I won," and I would have said, "Yeah, you sure did." But I am not good at that stuff, not at all.
I feel like there was a little bit of stubbornness from you as we were setting up the game, and I believe
dragging my feet a bit,
almost verbatim. What you had said to me while we were setting it up was, "Yeah, go ahead and start talking about it. I'm not going to listen anyway." Yeah. So we get to the game, and that became clear relatively quickly that there was either one of two things. Either you knew how to play and you were just trying to screw me, or you legitimately had no idea. And that was made very clear within the first half hour when every time your turn would come around, you would do the same action every time.
Build a road.
With no reward.
You got to build those roads, though.
There is such a limited reward in building nothing but roads. And by limited, I mean nearly zero.
When I play Monopoly, Annette will tell you in a disgusted tone that my line is always, "Railroads built this country." Because you got to get the Reading. You got to get the B&O.
No, you don't.
You got to get the
Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania.
Is that one? No.
Yeah. No, Pennsylvania Railroad.
B&O, Pennsylvania.
Like a short line?
Reading and short line.
Reading.
Yeah.
Reading.
Is it Reading?
100% Reading.
No.
Yeah. Reading Railroad.
No. What's Reading? Who's Reading?
It's Reading. It's a town in Pennsylvania.
Am I thinking of the Reading Rainbow?
You're thinking of Reading Rainbow.
And I'm making it a railroad?
Yeah.
Got to be a common mistake,
Reading
right?
Reading Railroad. It is. It's very common. Annette thought the same thing. We had a fight about it when we first started dating.
How do you pronounce Reading Railroad? Reading. Okay, so it is spelled reading.
Spelled the same.
Okay.
Yeah, spelled the same.
That's obviously why I and probably the most of America. Boy, that didn't take long, but that's the poll question. That is news to me. Did you know it was the Reading Railroad, or did you think it was pronounced Reading?
Yeah. To me, it was always Reading. But I also said Mario. So, which it's weird that I've been so shamed out of that it sounded weird when I just said it.
That's the only proper way to fix it.
I grew up playing Super Mario Brothers. You know something, though? But I have a good friend from back home whose name is Mario. And if I were to start calling him Mario, he'd be like, what? It would be like if he started calling me Stev.
I feel like you can't be friends with him anymore. It's the only way to fix this. Now, I know it seems like in the last 2 weeks I've been telling you a lot.
I know, yeah, boy.
You can't hang out or know people.
I can't be friends with anyone. I can't make friends with anyone. People that I'm currently friends with, I have to get rid of them.
Yeah, well, unless he's willing to go by Mario. So I don't know if you want to shoot him a text, say, hey.
See, I don't think he's opposed to it because his wife calls him Mario. But he grew up being called Mario. So, like his family calls him that.
Are they, super Italian?
Yeah, of course.
Like off the boat Italian type of
Yes.
stuff? Okay, so that's why, because that's probably the more Italian homeland pronunciation, right? Just like you probably go back to the homeland and they go, hey, Stavey!
But that's my point. Like, if that's what his family calls him and that's what it is from the homeland, who are we to change it?
Yeah, but maybe they're all saying it wrong.
Maybe just generations.
No, I mean, it's pretty obvious what's happened is when they came out with that video game, it was Super Mario Brothers, and that's the way American kids always called it, was Super Mario Brothers,
boy,
even if the creators.
Not me, though. Not anyone, not where I grew up. It was Super Mario Brothers.
And the problem is, normally you could say, well, we're just being idiots. I mean, the game makers knew what they were doing, but the game makers were Japanese Nintendo company. It's not like they were going Mario. Yeah. And look what they did to the character.
It's funny,
stereotypical big mustaches and
this is just it's one of those weird regional dialects.
Oh, absolutely.
But the region is like the size of a ballpoint pen dot on a map.
Yeah,
and it's just where I live.
Yeah, it's just that local area.
But we digress. I don't even know how we got onto that. It was game night. Game night last night.
Boy,
family game night.
And I do want to get back quickly because this has been... I don't feel like this was news forever. I don't think it was news when we were kids. I don't even think it was known. So do you play... When you play Monopoly, it sounds like you've played with Annette, so within the last, 3 to 5 years. Do you play by the proper rules, or do you play by house rules? Because the proper rules that people usually don't play by... Obviously, the free parking, you're not supposed to get any money from that.
Yeah.
But the big one, and this is the reason that the game takes so long, is if you don't want to buy a property or you can't, it's supposed to go up for auction.
Yeah. No, we don't play that. Because for a while, we got really into, like, whenever Annette and I would travel, we would bring the iPad, and we had Monopoly on there.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, if we're on a plane together, just set the iPad up on the table. And I don't think that there was even the option to play with the real rules.
Really?
Yeah.
So it's buy it or don't buy it and move along.
I think so.
See, it's rare.
I could be totally wrong.
It's rare because most people, if they have, even if it, if a property's $280 and you have $290, you're like, well, all I need is this one person to land on that spot 11 times, and I've made that money back. So I better put my bankroll down to $10 and hope I don't hit anything for the next, 3 times, and I'll be fine. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to fire up the old app on the iPad and see how it goes, because I don't remember what. But I definitely, like, growing up playing the board game, the actual board game, never played that.
I don't think anybody played it that way, right?
No, not at all.
And I don't know how that just became commonplace everywhere, but that's the way it is everywhere. Nobody played with auctioning the properties, and everybody started giving away free parking money.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Who are we?
Monopoly has been bastardized over the years.
Who are we to change the rules? And then they got all these different different versions of the game.
Oh, you get rid of the thimble, and you act like I'm going to stick around?
Yeah.
No, that's tradition.
Garbage.
Kids need to know what a thimble is.
That's right.
It's the only time they're ever going to, one, say the word, two, see what it might look like, is when they're playing, the 1984 version of Monopoly with ripped paper money.
I didn't think coming into this episode that you'd have a hot Monopoly take. Or
telling you.
A hot thimble take.
I've been thinking this for a while, Steve. I didn't want to say anything. I think you're holding me back. I think I need my very own hot take cast where I can let loose. Well, now it's gone. I mean, it's done. I wrapped it up. The thought's been done.
No, go ahead. This is your chance to shine like a diamond.
Let me look at my Fast Five, see if I got anything I can go on a rant about.
All right.
Here.
Anyway, so
I didn't even look at that stepping all over me again. I didn't even get a chance.
But we digress.
Yeah, but we digress.
I have to say that my wife partially offended by something that took place last night, and when I say offended, I mean it in a lighthearted manner.
Okay.
We were sitting there, we were having a great time, eating some little snacks, petting the dog, holding the baby, having a drink or two, and your wife said to Annette, because we had gone out last weekend for Jimmy Pardo.
Yeah.
And your wife, Katie, said to Annette, after last week, I would have sworn that you were pregnant.
Yeah.
And Annette's like, huh? Oh, because you only had Sprite when we were out at the show, because we had gone out for dinner, and then we had gone to
the show,
gone to the show
with a 2-drink minimum,
big group of people, and she just didn't drink.
Sure,
wasn't up for it. So this morning she's like, yeah, I mean, like, they think that I drink so much that if I'm not drinking, it's only because I'm pregnant.
There was only 2 people that are in our whole group who weren't drinking.
Mm-hmm.
And one of them was Annette.
Yeah.
So she had said that even before that.
If you say so. I know that, because I know the other one wasn't.
Yep.
But I'm not watching.
I just know. I mean, all the drinks are around the table, and you know, Katie but this happened before that. I don't remember why she'd brought it up. Katie had thought that before last Saturday.
Really?
For probably a week or two, and I told her, "No, you're crazy."
Based on, is it just one of those?
I think it was something similar to that too. But when did we? I don't remember when we saw you last. I don't know. But yeah, she had mentioned it to me. And I said, no, you're crazy. First of all, in order, people finding out, Steve.
Yeah.
Steve will tell his mother.
Well, probably Annette first. I mean,
Annette to you.
Annette would probably.
Yeah, Annette to you.
She'd probably know first.
And then you to your mother.
Yeah.
And then I got to tell you, it's probably a horse race between me and Mike.
Right. Okay. So you're. I mean, it may not be 1, but it's 1A.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a matter of whoever you happen to scroll into first.
Let me I just need to write this down for future reference. Okay, so Annette to Steve, Steve to Mom, Steve to Mike / Kyle. Got it. Okay.
And again, I'm not going to be offended if it goes
everybody else.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, she can do whatever she wants on her side.
Everybody else just gets like a mass text.
Yep.
Okay.
She can do whatever she wants on her side of the family and her friends, but, I mean, I'm just going through the order of things, and I'm guessing it's going to happen Mike or I first, just depending on, you know, who you scroll into first on your recently contacted. And as we have talked about, Lord knows it's not going to be your other brother, Mike. So.
All right, well, I'm going to print this little list out, and I'm going to tuck it away in a safe place for when the day comes.
I honestly think it's mostly her kind of wanting someone else to have that experience.
Yeah.
And, you know, I think that's
I would imagine that's pretty normal.
Yeah, I think it's a lot of her pining for someone. But she's got, you know, and I think she had kind of been thinking that because she talked a little bit about it last night. She has a rash of coworkers,
right?
Like an epidemic, who just, you know, can't stop themselves right now, apparently. The winter
There's nothing else going on.
has gotten to them. And there's like 7 of her coworkers pregnant, and then mix in the thing last week, and she was all up in her head.
So was when we showed up last night, because we had a little bag that had some snacks and drinks in it and everything. So when we pulled out that bottle of Chard, the bottle of Donay, was there obvious disappointment on your wife's face?
I don't remember.
Because
there was more shock on my face, because the first thing you pulled out was a couple of small cans of LaCroix. And so the first thing I'm thinking is, oh, God, now I got to hear this again another night from her when they leave, thinking, Annette's only having LaCroix. Because I'd never seen a nice Chard mixed with a LaCroix.
Yeah, she's gotten into this, like the LaCroix, it's like if you don't...
Sparkling water.
Yeah, it's a sparkling water, like seltzer type stuff, flavored water.
Sure.
Well, she had gotten into that, I don't know, maybe like a year ago or whatever. She had heard like, oh, I heard that this is really good or something like that. There was... Somebody had told her about it. So she mostly drinks beer, but but kind of bounces back and forth between that. And I think that when we were over on New Year's Eve, I think she did the sparkling.
Oh, was she mixing? Okay.
But yeah, so she had. That's funny though. That's really funny. That
and obviously she means no offense or anything by it.
No.
I think it's a lot of, like I said, her hoping and wishing, and then thinking she got one right.
That I just drink all the time. If I'm not drinking, it must be because I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
Well, my apologies to both you and your wife.
I could see that. Like I don't drink one time, and that's the thought process. That's not the way you'd want it to go, but obviously not the intention.
Yeah. No go, but when that is the case, Annette will tell me, I will tell my mom, and then I will then tell... Maybe I'll just conference you and Mike.
That's not a bad idea. Now, where does your sister fall?
That way nobody jumps the gun. Oh, my sister. Jeez. Come on. Finds out after the neighbor across the street that I don't even know yet.
Hey! Having a baby! Oh, that reminds me. I got to call my sister.
Do you have her number?
Now, when do you think that comes? Now, I know your mom's reaction, because your mom was remarkably sweet to even give. She gave myself and Katie and baby Reed a gift for crying out loud.
That's what mom does. She knits blankets and
yeah. So we know her reaction, obviously, when that comes. Well, I think a tougher nut to crack is going to be your old man.
Yeah.
How do you think how do you think he's gonna react? Now, obviously, he's got a couple of grandchildren already.
Yep.
So you know, obviously, kind of with the way it'll go. But do you think it's gonna be, you give him a call? Hey, Annette's pregnant. We're having a baby. Good for you. Hope it's not as expensive as you were. Or do you think it's gonna be?
Kid's not a little bastard like you were.
Or do you think it's going to be, genuine, like real excitement?
I think it'll be
giddiness?
Yeah, he'll be genuinely excited.
Okay, because I know I've only met your dad a few times, Hobie, and a nice man.
Yeah,
but I think with fathers it's different. It's harder to tell. Like,
my dad is from the he's in his 70s. He's from the generation where you kind of keep your emotions in check. And it's well, congratulations. Okay. And then he could hear like, hey, 50 people just died, and be like, oh, that's rather sad. There's not a whole lot of...
It's not a wide range.
This pendulum doesn't swing very far. It's a very, very short swing.
Now, your mom, you said, she's not pushing or making hints or anything like that, but you went and visited your dad over the holidays, you and Annette. Was there any, even like he's having a beer, you're watching, The Price is Right... And hey, having any bastards soon?
They wouldn't be bastards because
but
we are married.
More of the implication of that he's going to be a little jerk. The kid would be a jerk, right?
No
questions. Okay,
no, there's none of that. To my family's credit, we don't get that at all. And to Annette's family's credit, too.
Sure,
it's nobody. And really, even with, like, before we got married, there really wasn't any of that. Like, every now and then, there would kind of be a veiled reference to it, like, oh, when are you going to get married? But that's just it. Both of our families are pretty low pressure. Now, I think that being said, her mom and my mom are probably like tea kettles about to explode because they want to ask that, but they're also very respectful of our, of the relationship.
I get the impression that at both of their homes, you go visit and they're like, "Oh, just don't go, upstairs into that room or whatever," and it's locked, and it's actually the baby's room already, and it's done.
Or in the living room, there's pictures of my brother and Carla and their 2 children, my sister and Brian, their 2 children, and then it's like a picture of me and Annette, and then an empty picture frame.
Yeah.
Or like a picture of Lola.
Yeah. Or just 2 nails. Right. Where the frames will go.
Or the hammer and a little hook is just sitting on the end table with a level. Like, anything? Yeah. Nothing? No news yet?
I do think you're correct. I think that will for sure be the case.
Yeah.
When that day comes.
Yeah. But like I said, we got the chain of commands here, or the Annette will tell me.
Yep.
I appreciate that I'm that high up on the list.
Hey, good chance that she'd have called her parents out of fear.
She can cut me out. I mean, by the way, if you find out, when you find out, do me a favor, just shoot me a text to make sure I'm in the loop too.
Okay. Yeah, no, that works.
Yeah.
And then we're going to recap the chain of command on this podcast to make sure it goes in proper order.
So we got Annette will tell me. I will then tell my mom.
Yep.
And then right afterwards, we are taking no time in between.
Like give your mom a snap of the fingers on the phone. Hey, Ma, I gotta go. Yeah. Other calls to make, things to do. This up.
And then I will immediately call you and my brother.
Yeah.
Have you conferenced in together?
Now, your brother will probably think it's in regards to Brothers Weekend 2019.
That's true. Yeah, we talked about that last week.
And you'll say, Annette's having a baby, and he'll say, who's Annette?
No, he'll say, it better not be due during Brothers Weekend.
Better not fall on an Eagle Sunday. Now, do you remember? I don't know if I referenced this. Now, I spent some time with your brother Mike when Katie and I were in New York this summer. We went out. We had a bunch of drinks. Your brother and his wife were remarkably generous to us in kind, and it was a fantastic day down in middle of Manhattan where all the rich people mingle.
Right.
And obviously, Katie was pregnant at that point. I don't think we talked about it on the podcast, and I don't think a ton of people knew, but Mike knew because he's my brother.
Of course, yeah. Brothers know everything.
And he listed to me while we were talking, like, his most proud days as a human. Mm-hmm. Now, everybody's going, either birth of your children,
I would assume,
don't have children,
marriage, birth of kids, maybe like your kid's first day of school, or first crack of the bat at T-ball.
Yeah, or I mean, if you're old enough, like when your kid gets married or you have a grand, things like that.
Yeah.
Mike went birth of his first son. Number 1. Number 2. Philadelphia Eagles Super Bowl victory.
Wait, that wasn't before?
No, this was last summer.
Oh, so yeah. It was for some reason. Yeah, I was thinking that was longer ago than that.
He had said to me, he's laid it out to me. So obviously he knows my wife's pregnant. He said, listen, it's going to be fantastic. Because the only thing that will compare to it is when the Lions win the Super Bowl for you one day.
Man, bummer for Joey, though. So that means that...
I think he was a little peer pressured in to adjusting his rankings. Right. And by peer pressured... I mean, he probably got a look from Carla.
Getting the elbow.
Yeah, because not only Joey, poor Joey taking one on the chin, and I know what that feels. Listen, I don't feel bad because Joey's delivered plenty of uppercuts to me.
That's right. Yeah. F you,
but
Uncle
not
Kyle.
not only poor Joey in this situation, poor Carla.
Yeah, not even in the top 3.
Probably, she went from number 1 to honorable mention in the matter of, 8 years?
Yeah.
How old is Daniel?
Daniel, he'll be 9 in in July.
So she dropped from 1 to 4 in probably about, and that's assuming your brother's not hiding anything else. He's like, yeah, the day my alma mater won a big game.
Yeah. Like 3 weeks ago, I had a really good sandwich at Tony's.
Number 2.
So.
My first Geno's cheesesteak.
Right.
Top 5. So poor Carla has dropped from 1 to off the medal stand in 9 years by nothing more than, well, 1, having his children, and 2, him having a favorite football team.
Yeah, that can't feel great.
And I'm not judging. I need that very clear because I don't want to make our brother mad.
All right, so right now then, your list would probably be, I would assume, either wedding or birth of your son first. I'm assuming that they'd be 1, 2.
Yeah, those are. Yeah, I would argue those are both there.
Or
and
one and 1A. Or,
yeah.
So you're. All right. So let's say, for sake of argument, those are both number 1. They're just tied. You cannot make the decision between them.
Okay.
What's 2?
Oh.
I mean, I think I know.
Do you?
I do. Can I give my guess?
Yeah, I'd like to hear what you think.
I mean, it had to be when you met Cliffy, right?
Boy, I'll tell you. I've talked about this. I've cried before. I cry in movies. Cry a lot. Cried when my son was born or just before he was born.
Mm-hmm.
I think wedding. Cliffy, 1 and 1A.
Wow, really?
Reed's 2.
Oh, boy. So when you met the man that played Cliff Clavin in Cheers.
Mr. John Ratzenberger to you, sir.
That was right up there. That was on par with the day you married your wife.
Yeah.
Above the day that your son, your flesh and blood, your one and only child, was born just 4 months ago.
Yeah. I feel like with the benefit of hindsight, I had a little more time to look back at my meeting with Cliffy. By that I mean he was born. I met him in November, 1 month after my son was born. It's weird because obviously the birth of your child is massive, and it's obviously one of the best moments of your life. But when you actually look back on it, we went into the hospital at 1 a.m. My poor beautiful wife just labored. Like by 7 a.m. I'm sitting in a folding chair in front of her trying to help, and I'm just falling asleep sitting up. Like you remember obviously the birth, but the day
everything
and
else is probably just a blur.
And on even my end, awful. I can't imagine her end, just exhaustion.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, "Oh, when you see him, it'll make it worth it." Now he's just screaming at you.
It's all weird looking.
Yeah, it's like this isn't better yet. When does he go to school?
All right, so I can see why Cliffy jumped over Reed. Sorry, buddy.
I think an underrated, a real high moment of my life was the day Spider-Man 2 came out.
How about the day that old Team Remax took the victory and won the summer league?
Was that the one that I wasn't there to take a picture with, so you guys just took the team photo without me, or was this
that was
this year?
This year.
Yeah, I just wanted to be certain.
Yeah.
I just wanted to clarify.
No. That other one.
Boy, that was a exciting moment dashed by watching everybody depart within 30 seconds and go to their vehicles with almost no regard for the victory.
Yeah, it was look, we got a T-shirt.
Uh-huh.
Well, that was kind of no one's ever gotten excited over championship T-shirt.
Everybody's there.
Championship trophy. Like, I expected something no less than 5 feet tall.
I want something that we can put on the mantle of our sponsor's office.
And we each spend a day with it. It's like the Stanley Cup.
Yes, absolutely.
We go to the bar and we have shots out of like the little baseball man's hat or something.
Well, the year before, you bunch of losers got a plaque for finishing second in the regular season.
We did. Yeah.
That's sitting somewhere.
Yeah, I wonder who has that.
It's got to be in the Remax office, right? Of Adam, our sponsor.
It should be. I mean,
I wouldn't mind a day with it.
I'd take a day with it.
Like try to drink booze off of it, but it's just a flat
just like
plaque.
Eat a panini off of it or something.
Give it back with just knife scratches and don't clean it. So there's a little lettuce.
Speaking of Team Remax, there's some trouble a brewing. I don't think we're fielding a team this year,
As expected.
That is disappointing.
By the way, before we get too far, I did want to clarify, obviously all in joking manner, the birth of my son was the best day of my life, bar none.
Other than
meeting Cliff.
Yeah.
Joking. Other than Cliff. John Ratzberger.
No. Editor's
Yeah,
note, not joking.
Yeah, see, there appears to be some issues. It's about that time every year where messages go out. And now in the past years, I've been taking care of this. The last year, after the team was kind of put together, I took a step back. Not interested in being I'm trying to think of the word to put it, the corraller of a bunch of
leader.
wandering minds to get all the ducks in a row. So
now we have this group Facebook message.
Yeah.
Probably 10 or 12 people on it. And it's been dormant for the last 3 months, 4 months.
Yeah.
Other than a random message every now and then saying, "Hey guys, how's it going?" And so the message went out. Cy Nolan Ryan Young started getting the ball rolling last week. Said it's
was it? I thought it was 2 weeks ago.
was
even.
it might have been, but he said it's sign-ups are open for summer ball. Who's in? I replied probably within an hour of him sending it out. I said, "Yep, I'm in." I checked back like 2 days later, and it showed that everyone had seen the message and no one else had replied except for Cy Nolan Ryan Young, who then said, "All right, so we have a pitcher and a second baseman."
I think the only activity was 2 people leaving the message.
Boy, I don't even know who the one person is.
The 2 people that left were the friends of my coworker Ryan, who he had brought in.
Gotcha.
Who helped us win the summer championship before joining us for the fall team and letting us all down.
So, and our friend Jake moved away to the Tri or Quad Cities, one of those.
One of the multiple cities down in Iowa.
So he's out. Oh, look at that! No, we got our shortstop back. All right.
Who's that?
That's Brandon.
Oh, third baseman.
Oh, why is his name another grounder to short?
Oh, because that's how often that's his hit.
Okay. All right. So Brandon's in. Oh, that's right. Yeah, Brandon plays third. It's Kevin. Kevin at shortstop. Let's see. Somebody named Scott said they can most likely do any night but Tuesday.
Yep, that's Scott, who would go alternate between first base, third base, shortstop, and the outfield.
Town drunk Rusty seems like he may be experiencing some medical issues.
Boy,
lately.
oh boy, not our business to put this out in public, but I would think Rusty should retire, focus on life after the game.
Yeah, maybe at least come back as a base coach or a cheerleader or something.
Yeah, he can do that.
But yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, look, and I've seen the most recent message was seen by 9 people, so we know for a fact that my friend Ryan, who is presumably moving to St. Louis, is out. His 2 friends are out. Our friend Jake is gone, moving to one of the multiple cities in Iowa. Gone. So we're down 4 from an already pretty thin put-together team last year.
Seems like the dream might be over. And that's disappointing, because I was looking forward to it.
And one of those 9 people in that message is the sponsor, Adam, who didn't play last year at all. Puts us down to 8 names. I think you've probably burnt the bridge to my brother coming back.
Me? Me personally?
Hey, I have done nothing but defend his honor and my family name. And you just continue to disparage it, even off mic this morning. Like, hey, you see that, gazelle that looks like he's running in a potato sack race lately?
Those are words that you are saying.
I was like, Steve, my God, man, that's my brother. How dare you?
You know something? If my brother is your brother, then your brother is my brother.
Hey, we're all one big family, so I can't believe you treat him like that. The 2 interactions, or the 2 ways you treat your brothers, are one brother you don't know where he works or where he lives.
No, right.
The other brother,
I know very well where my brother
call
lives.
him very mean names.
Well, I mean, come on. You've seen him run.
I think, Steve.
You think it's over?
I think it's over. I don't
right.
know a
I had
way
gotten-
to put it together at this point.
I had gotten an email from somebody who was interested in playing. Somebody who listens to the podcast or the side gig.
Sure.
All right, so now we're up to like 4, maybe?
If this person can play and does play.
Right.
So that puts us up to
Yeah, probably
4
shouldn't.
in. Scott's probably in.
Mm-hmm.
That gives
right.
you 5.
Yeah.
Halfway to fielding a roster.
Okay.
And it's assuming nobody sits out a week.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, why would anyone ever miss a game?
Because I need to make it very clear. Very clear.
Mm-hmm.
I am retired.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep.
The game I've
Yep.
listen.
Mm-hmm.
I am the luckiest man
Sure.
on the face of the earth.
Earth.
Do you know any?
It's today I consider
I
myself-
now have my own disease.
Disease.
I'm going to go home,
Home.
have a lot of sex with Marilyn Monroe.
Marilyn Monroe.
Luckiest man.
Man.
See ya.
See ya. Is that how it went?
That's
Was
pretty
it- yeah,
accurate.
that's pretty good. Pretty
The
good.
DiMaggio retirement speech.
Yeah. Wait. He didn't have his own disease.
Oh boy.
That was Lou Gehrig.
That wasn't Lou Gehrig's retirement speech. Did Lou Gehrig have a retirement speech? That was DiMaggio's retirement, the famous one, right?
Yeah. So
Oh, boy,
Joe
that
DiMaggio
is-
retired because he had Joe DiMaggio's disease.
Yeah, well, no, man, you didn't hear about that? You had the DiMaggios. Like little, it's like a parasite.
Is it?
Yeah, eating away at his insides. Yeah, that's a classic case of the DiMaggios.
Oh boy.
Eradicated shortly thereafter. Turns out it was easy to stop. Doctor just missed it.
You can't learn that in the history books, folks.
Don't bother fact checking that one, Zach. I nailed it. I can't believe I just did that. Honestly, I
when
forgot.
you said it, I was thinking to myself, man, I thought that was Joe DiMaggio's
Yeah.
speech. I guess maybe it was Lou Gehrig.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You
So-
you judo flipped me.
So either Lou Gehrig was sleeping with Marilyn Monroe while Joe DiMaggio was.
Oh boy, that would be a scandal.
Boy, yeah, she was getting around.
Yeah, I mean, the president.
Yeah. No, I mean many men.
Zach, we need a list.
Give us the list of known sexual associates of Marilyn Monroe, Norma Jean herself. Yeah, she got around, if I recall. Back in, all my reading about
Back
her.
in the 60s, 50s, 50s.
Had to be 50s, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 50s into 60s. Her heyday was early 60s because that is when she was with President. I don't think Kennedy was president yet during the highlight of their affair. I actually listened to a podcast about this, and she would call the White House and threaten to release information. And that's part of a wide-ranging conspiracy theory that the White House and Robert Kennedy had a lot to do with her death.
Interesting.
That Robert Kennedy was one of the last 2 people to enter her apartment before she was found dead.
Very interesting.
Stay tuned for Conspiracy Cast.
Conspiracy.
No, sorry. History
of the mystery.
I gave too much detail already.
Yeah, exactly. It would just be there is a conspiracy
Yeah.
that Robert Kennedy had something to do with Marilyn Monroe's death.
Yep. Now we are...
End of episode.
God, quick hitters. Heavily listened to. Now we are way behind schedule here, Steve. So did we want to talk about the Billboard? Or do we want to get our dear friend Stan the Movie Man on the phone line?
I think Billboard real quick.
Okay, yeah.
It's there's not a whole like a huge update. We're still going to Van Wert, Ohio on April 6th for the official unveiling of the Billboard that will be up for the entire month of April. We will go to the Billboard, do a little photo shoot there, and then head to Frickers in Van Wert.
What is that, Saturday?
For the after party. Saturday, April 6th, 2019. We have a Billboard design.
Yeah,
The design
that's
has
the big
been done
news.
by our friend Phil Apart on Twitter, Philapart, and it looks fantastic. He's doing a couple last-minute tweaks to it. Now, there is a minor issue.
Yeah?
You single-handedly tried to ruin this whole thing with your sharp business acumen by sending a check to Joe the Billboard Man that did not include a signature on it.
Listen, we're dealing with 1980s advertising, and I should have known that the only way to properly pay the man is through 1980s payment, which is through a check.
Yeah.
So, honestly, I'm surprised I didn't have to Western Union him a MoneyGram fax thing. So, the checks we have are my wife's with the same bank account that we share.
Yeah.
From, let's see, 4 addresses ago.
Okay.
That's how infrequently we use these checks. So I write the check and I think, well, my name's not on the top. It's her name.
Doesn't matter.
So let me go into the memo section here.
They don't care as long as the right amount is there.
Yeah, but I wanted to make sure they knew what it was for. Yeah. Right. So I went, I opened up our page of what the billboard is or where it's going to be, and I put in the memo. I go, yeah, all right.
Billboard number,
panel
whatever.
ID, tab ID. I put like parentheses, Van Wert, Ohio. Like, oh yeah, I mean, so many details. There's no way this check can get misplaced. Throw that baby in an envelope. Can't get it in the mailbox. Boom, gone. And this is how terrible I am and how infrequently I've written checks. You say, hey, check the email. I check the email, and it's an email from Joe saying, check's not signed.
Now, by the way, he received that check 3 weeks ago.
I'm not lobbing blame, because I'm the one who screwed this up. But somebody in that office opened the envelope with this check with the info on it and saw one of the 5 lines on the check totally empty.
What surprises me is that the billboard industry, obviously a dying industry,
yeah,
you would think that the second they got a check, they would have that thing cashed.
It'd be gone.
Because they'd be like, someone actually fell for it.
Right. Can you believe it? These idiots actually bought one.
Yeah. So the fact that they waited like 3 or 4 weeks before they even looked at it, because he had emailed us back a couple weeks ago saying, yeah, got the check. Just waiting on your artwork. So I get this email, and this is, again, I haven't written a check in probably 5 years, at least. I go to Katie, I say, hey, I got this email. I thought I only had to sign it if I'm cashing it. So you didn't know that you had to sign the line that says signature.
Who needs that?
So you knowingly didn't sign the check?
No, I honestly didn't even look at that part. Like I said, it was the morning. I texted you too. It was the morning. I'm heading out for work. It's like, I got to get this check in the mail today. So I'm filling it out, and I'm trying to pull up the info. Boom, fill out that line. Don't even think about the other side.
No.
Gone into the mail. But yeah, did I know? No, but it's not because I didn't see the box or didn't look at the box.
You only sign the back.
Yeah, if it's yours.
If you're cashing it. Yeah, if somebody sends you that, if I send you a check for $100 and you want to cash it, you sign the back of it. It's called endorsing the check.
Certainly.
But you didn't sign the front of the check.
Or the back.
Well, you're not supposed to sign the back.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Didn't even consider a signature in any regard, Steve.
Okay. So now we're up against it.
Well, now we're waiting for the check to come back so I can sign it.
It seems like the quickness in which they work.
Hopefully,
I don't know.
soon.
It took them 3 weeks to figure out that it wasn't signed. It's probably going to take them another 3 weeks to put it in the mail and send it back.
I think we're okay.
I
think we're ahead of schedule. He said he didn't need this design until March. We have it 98% done.
He should. By the time you're listening to this podcast, Joe the Billboard Man should have our artwork.
Yeah. Again, designed by Philip.
Beautiful, though.
Oh, it's exciting.
I can't wait for people to see it. Looks like we have a handful of people that are going to be meeting us.
Yeah, so far it shows 8 people going.
Talked to our wives last night. I said, you guys sure that you don't want to? And that's as far as I got. And they both said, no. Okay. So I think our wives are having a ladies' day. Maybe they'll hang out and drink some more Chard.
Yeah.
Or more Donay.
a nice smooth shard. Yeah, we show 8 going, 9 interested, or 19 interested,
Ooh.
sorry. If we can get a few of those to come along for the ride.
Yeah, what do we have to do? What do we have to do?
Yeah, tell us what we can do to encourage people to go. Now,
To make that interested a commitment.
Yeah, because I know, listen, it's not like every day, unless your name's Patrick Flanagan, it's not every day you're driving through Van Wert, Ohio. Now, we do have, Steve, did you see, I believe it was Facebook message?
I did see that.
This is big news. We're going to need to talk to this man very soon. We're going to have to give him a call. Patrick Flanagan, our friend of the show here who works down in Van Wert, sent us a picture some time back because this billboard thing's been going on for 8 months, longer than Steve's been trying to sell his Jeep, if you can believe it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That, of him going into Frickers, and he gave us a heads up that he would be willing to be a leg in the Steve Buck system.
This Steve's Pony Express is the working title for the app.
Of transporting this 10-foot, 6-inch wide, or tall, sorry, by 22-foot, 9-inch wide piece of, I think, is it vinyl?
Yeah, some kind of vinyl or canvas. I don't know.
My fear is it's going to be like a sticky adhesive back. And
Yeah,
so
I don't
we're
know.
going to try to unroll it, and it's just going to shred, and it's going to be a waste of time and effort.
Okay. Well, maybe he can just get a really tall flagpole and kind of drive it as if it's a flag all the way here.
Yeah. Because he's, I mean, this guy, willing to help. He said he has an old carpet tube. He could wrap it around.
Look at that.
So we, as soon as this check gets back to me and back to Joe, which hopefully will happen soon, and the artwork is with Joe, we're going to start making plans on how we can actually get this billboard back to us so we can use it in designing APS 4.0.
Yeah, exactly. Bare minimum, we'll have Patrick pick it up and just hold on to it, keep it, for safe. I'm sure he'll be thrilled to have to keep a...
Listen, 10-foot tubes of vinyl fit anywhere.
Right.
I mean, I'm looking at this room.
Yeah, I got 20 of them in here.
We could fit, easily a dozen of them just the long way in here.
So thank you very much to Patrick for that.
I did share the event again on Facebook. If you go to facebook.com/Steve and Kyle, it's on the event. It's also, we've made posts of it. Steve and Kyle visit their own billboard. Again, April 6, 2019. We would love to see you there. We will post the exact location, but I can say the location we've put of Frickers Van Wert is less than 1 mile away from the billboard. So we'll all be meeting at the billboard. We can snap some pictures and meet, and then we'll make our way down to Frickers for some chicken, some pond scum if you didn't donate, and drinks are first round of drinks, at least on us, Steve and I, for coming down to visit us.
Maybe for first 3 people in the door.
Boy, the Steve drink buying has dwindled as this fundraiser is closed and as the planning has progressed. I owe personally a few drinks. Friends of the podcast, Steve. We met them and interacted with them last week at the Jimmy Pardo comedy show.
The Brothers Humphrey?
The Brothers Humphrey, which I know what you're thinking, sounds like a parody movie of the Brothers Grimm, where it's instead of what? Now the Brothers Grimm are I think 2 brothers who they live in the fairy tale land.
I don't know. I always thought they were like they lived in the dirt or something.
You think they're worms now? You think the Brothers Grimm are a series of books in folklore about 2 brothers who live in the dirt?
Maybe. Zach?
Boy, I got a gut feeling.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but
I got a feeling I know how this one's going to go. The Grimm's Fairy Tales, known as a collection of fairy tales by the Grimm brothers or the Brothers Grimm. Okay. But this is the Brothers Humphrey, so it's just, 2 aloof guys who happen to walk into crime and never solve anything.
all right.
But we were able to meet them last week. I owe Jeremy.
Yeah, Jeremy and his brother Steven were also at the Jimmy Pardo show last week. And for when we first got there, actually, I think you had mentioned it the day before.
Yep.
You said, I got to remember to take cash with me because I want to buy one of Jimmy's. It's basically a concert poster.
Yep.
Very nice, artwork, basically a caricaturized version of Jimmy.
Sure.
Tour dates and stuff like that. And you wanted to get one. What were they? $10?
Yeah, $10. I had no idea how much they were, but
buy it at the merch table for $10. He signs it, but it's only it's a cash only deal. So then you said something while we were sitting at dinner. You were like, "Oh, I got to remember to get cash out from there's an ATM right around the corner," and then walked right past it. So we're sitting at the show, and you're like, "Oh, I forgot to get cash."
Yeah.
And I said to Annette, because Annette sometimes has cash. I was like, "Hey, do you have $10 we can give to Kyle for the poster?" No, didn't have it. So I then see on the way out, Jimmy standing up there, kind of like a meet and greet as you walk out. You can shake his hand. People are taking pictures. And you were probably 5 or 6 people in line ahead of us. And then at one point I looked over. You had already talked to Jimmy. And you were kind of standing out in the lobby waiting for us. I was like, oh, he's got a poster. Oh, I guess Katie must have had cash or something. Or maybe he found a 10 in his pocket. And then you said afterwards that you begged and pleaded with the brothers Humphrey, and they scrounged up $10 to pay for your poster. You, podcast superstar Kyle, making bank from this show,
the bucks we make here,
and you had to beg and plead with the brothers Humphrey, for $10.
That's pretty accurate with how it went. I walked out of meeting Jimmy. They were standing there, and they both had posters. Mm-hmm. And I thought, oh. And he said, and they said, hey, do you want a poster? And I said, actually, yes. And,
so
I thought he was offering one of his.
So you just took his that was signed like to Jeremy?
Yeah, well, first of all, how would I know he's signing it 2 names? How would I know he's signing it? Second of all, no, that's not exactly the way it went. So Jeremy starts digging through this gangster roll of cash.
He's got like a roll, like a rubber band.
Yeah, the hands. He goes, here's a 10. I said, oh my! I said, really, you don't have to do this. I would owe you. I said, no, go ahead. And he gives it to me. And so I got the new studio because it's going to end up going in APS 4.0. The APS
2020 never
2020. The Jimmy Pardo tour poster, and I am now indebted to the brothers Humphrey. Without knowing what the juice is on that loan every week.
They're getting points on that.
Yeah.
What do you think? 2.5, 3 points?
Oh, God, I hope it's that low. I don't know how that comes out to.
Yeah, I don't really know either.
Well, if it's $10, 2 points a week means I owe him 20 cents extra.
Is that a percent? Or
I think it's a percent. So it's like, because most degenerates, most people who sports bet, the degenerates and the scum of the earth, Steve, if you're using a non-official, non-legal means to do so, like some type of loan shark or sports book man.
I don't even know what you're referring to.
Just the people you see in those dirty rated R films. They usually will have the juice. The VIG is what it's called in the movies.
Wait, so are you comparing the brothers Humphrey to bookies or loan sharks?
I'm hoping not, because I want my kneecaps kept intact. But I believe usually
they're getting points. Then.
The bets are usually higher, and the loans are usually higher than $10. Mm-hmm. So maybe 2 to 4 points on $1,000, is a little bit more worth their time than 20 cents a week on my $10 loan. So I do owe them. I'll be paying them back in full plus the VIG at Saturday, April 6th when they come join us, Steve, at the Billboard in Van Wert, Ohio, and Fricker's Chicken.
So again, SteveandKyle.com or actually Facebook.com/SteveandKyle. Click on the events tab and you'll be able to see all the info there. We'll update that too once we have like an actual location for the billboard, or maybe we might have to meet at Fricker's
and drive
to the billboard and then
ride our
back.
Bikes there.
Yeah, we'll bring our bicycles.
Everybody can bike there, the 0.7 miles. We'll make shirts like for a charity 5K or whatever, but it's a charity 0.7K. Points. No, not even K. 0.7 M.
Yep.
We're not converting that to metric. I have no. What is 0.7 miles? What is that? You got a calculator there?
7 miles to KM. All right, so this will be the first annual Steve and Kyle Van Wert, Ohio 1.1K.
Boy, that feels like a long way.
Well, technically it's 1.12654K.
That's how it's going on the shirt then. Philip, get on that for us.
Yeah, Philip, Zach, somebody please come up with a design for that.
The very first Steve and Kyle Van Wert, 1.126556.
1.12654. 1.12654K.
12654K.
1.12654.
1.12654K.
Yes, there you go.
That's the and then throw a fake charity on there. No, not fake. The
No.
limbless dog, the LLDA.
LLDA.
The LLDA. So
Yeah, maybe
get on that, Philip.
maybe I'd appreciate it if you had at least one or two dogs standing up on their hind legs with
because they don't have any other ones.
maybe with biomechanical arms.
So you want half robot,
Yeah.
front limbless dogs on their hind legs standing
I mean,
up.
it doesn't have to be. They could have one real and one fake front leg, and then one real and one fake back leg too.
Boy, we've had Nikki make us a design, but this thing has evolved 10 months after its inception.
Yeah, it's very
So
important.
that's coming up again Saturday, April 6th,
Can't
2019.
wait.
But we have more pressing matters now, Steve.
do.
We have a dear friend of the show we need to talk to because it's an important time of the year.
I actually just got a message from the person that we're going to be talking to saying, "Did we digress?"
Yeah, so this happens where we tell them a time,
Mm-hmm.
and I had set a time, and we are now 18 minutes after that time. 25 minutes ago I had said, calling you very soon. And that has obviously been more than 20 minutes. So it's an important time here and a very important time for the Steve and Kyle podcast because I believe our hearts are fully invested in something.
Yeah.
And I think, at least in your regard, for probably the first time ever, and we're talking about the Oscars next weekend.
The Academy Awards, they call them. And boy, did I not know for the longest time that those two were the same thing.
Really?
No idea.
Wait, so you thought they were separate movie awards?
I thought that I never knew. I could never remember Oscars was movies and then Grammys was music.
Why is it the Oscars?
I don't know.
Is the statue after a bald gold
I'm
man named
assuming-
Oscar?
I'm assuming it's named after somebody. But yeah, I will not.
I refuse to look it up.
Yeah, well, not. That's what Zach is for.
The only assumption that we can make is that a gold bald man named Oscar once held something in his hand, and they made a cast of that, and that's now the award.
Yeah. Well, wait a minute. No, because it's.
Are you going back to
It's
thinking
the-
they're not the same thing?
No. But the award is called the Irving G. Thalberg Memorial Award.
Huh. Boy, this feels like
That could be wrong, though.
basis for an upcoming episode of History.
Of the mystery.
Stay tuned when we tell you the history behind why it's called the Oscars. But
No.
don't actually tell you
Yeah.
why it's called the Oscars.
All right, so we're going to get our friend from, I believe, Nashville, Tennessee? Or Knoxville, Tennessee?
Somewhere there.
Somewhere in Tennessee.
What are they, half hour apart?
865, I believe, 865.
You guys used to have a station on in both those towns. You still on in either of those?
Still on in Nashville.
Hey, upset.
Not on in Knoxville. Yeah, this is Stan the Movie Man from Knoxville, Tennessee. Do you have his... he has a movie review website.
Yeah,
And I
sorry, let me
believe-
pull that up here quickly. So Stan the Movie Man, we talked to him before. We talked to him, I believe we had him on for 2 minutes of awkward conversation.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say we actually spoke to him about the Oscars last year.
Stan, you can find him on Twitter at MovieManStan.
Yeah, and he's StanTheMovieMan.com. Be sure to check that out. He puts movie reviews up there all the time. He wears a wacky hat. Still don't know why. That's not my business.
All right, well, we'll get to the bottom of that once we get him on the phone, but we're going to give him a call right now. I have up on the Jumbotron, I have a list of all of the Oscar nominees ranked, set up by category.
Yeah. Now, you and I have a rooting interest in this.
Yeah, definitely.
I think everybody knows.
Hello?
Stan the Movie Man, the Steve and Kyle podcast. How are you, sir?
Steve, it is a pleasure to speak with you and join you on your podcast. I enjoy all your work, not only here, but on the side gig. I think you're very talented, and I really, really appreciate the opportunity to join you today.
Boy, Kyle.
Hey, thank you, Stan. I appreciate all those words. What I think you got cut off there. What else did you have to say?
No, that was it.
That's Stan the Movie Man. See his reviews at stanthemovieman.com. We're going to call, I don't know, anybody else for this discussion.
Stan, I think Kyle's feeling a bit slighted, but that's okay. I agree with pretty much everything you said. So let's just jump right into it. We need to know about the Oscars, which I just recently found out are the Academy Awards. Always thought that they were two separate award ceremonies for the longest time. Don't know why you need two different names for the same award ceremony.
Yeah.
Oscar, as it turns out, the theory is that way back in the day when the statuettes came out, somebody involved in the Academy Awards said it looked like her Uncle Oscar, and that's how they got the nickname.
Okay.
That may be strictly, a myth, but
sure.
It works for me.
Yeah, I like it. So, give us a general rundown. Like, what were some of your favorite movies of 2018? What are you expecting to win? Great performances, like just in general first, and then we can go through some Best Picture, Best Actor.
Yeah.
Just give us a general. How would you rank 2018 in general for movies?
It was a fair year, not the best, but I've certainly suffered through worse. I think the catastrophe of the 2016 summer movie season. Many people are just now getting over that.
What were those? What was the 2016 summer movie season? I mean, for those who don't know already.
Well, there were a lot of, I don't know any specifics right off the top of my head. I just know it was a very weak season at the box office, a lot of underperformers, and, it just wasn't what people thought it would be, considering the lineup. As I recall, the lineup for 2016 summer was considered in advance pretty impressive, and then they came out and they were just sort of blah.
Yeah, there's an article about 2016. Is it the worst summer movie season ever? You've got that Johnny Depp Mad Hatter movie. You had
Captain America Civil War,
the Independence Day sequel that nobody saw or cared about. What was that magician movie?
Civil War was an exception to that summer because that was an exceptional movie.
So Suicide Squad was no good?
Terrible movie.
Okay.
Well, it was a terrible movie, but it made a lot of money.
Okay.
Yeah, boy, he's not kidding. Alice Through the Looking Glass, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2, Warcraft, Independence Day 2. Let's see what
The Nice Guys, X-Men Apocalypse.
Ugh,
Jason Bourne.
It really was. I remember that being one of the first years that the box office in the summer season was way down. But even for critically acclaimed movies, I don't remember it being that notable.
Yeah, aside from a few of those exceptions, like Civil War and I forget one of the other ones you said, they weren't a terribly impressive lineup of films once they actually got released. X-Men Apocalypse was especially disappointing.
Well, right off the bat, Stan, what was your favorite movie of the past year?
Oh, I see so many, and they tend to just sort of all disappear after I see them. However, I have to say, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was one of the more entertaining films of last year.
Boy, you might be back into Kyle's good graces after saying that. Now that Spider-Man... Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse is up for Best Animated Feature Film with The Incredibles 2. What is this one here? Is this Isle of Dogs? How do you say this one?
Mirai. Ralph Breaks the Internet.
And then Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. Are you is your hot take a prediction that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse will go home with the Best Animated Feature Film?
I believe it probably will. It has done well in the earlier awards shows. It made itself a leading contender in that category early, and it's been consistent. So, yes, I believe Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse will take home the Oscar.
Okay, now the award that everybody is talking about this year, without a doubt, it's been the subject of all the morning talk shows, all the blogs on the internet, is the Oscar for Best Film Editing, as we all know.
It's been heating up, too.
Howdy.
So, I mean, obviously you have Black Klansman, you have...
No, Steve. You have Barry Alexander Brown.
Oh, Barry Alexander Brown, obviously. And you know the movie that he edited, right?
No, I don't.
Okay.
All I have is the list of films names. I don't have the person.
Okay, how about we give the name and
typical
then
snob.
We give the name and you try to pick out. I mean, honestly, my money is on Hank Corwin. The work that he did with those transitions from one scene to another, just fantastic work. I think in the movie that everyone knows.
I think the dark horse everybody's looking at this year for the Film Editing Award, Steve, is obviously Yorgos.
Good old
Mavropsardis.
Yeah, good old Yorgs. We call him.
You mean the director and editor of The Favorite?
Oh, look at that!
Whoa. Movie snobbery at its finest. Sorry, film snobbery at its finest.
Hold on, are you telling me that there is a man whose name is Patrick J. Don Vito? Patrick J. Don Vito?
Yeah, it's your cousin.
yeah. He's, of course, the editor of Green Book. Yes, Green Book.
Before we get too deep, Stan, I did want to ask you about a couple of the controversies going on. One being with the Green Book, the family of one of the namesake of the characters not happy with the representation of him in the movie. Do you make anything of that? Obviously hasn't affected its award chances. I forget the man's name, who the character is based on, but do you make anything of that?
Well, I to be honest, I knew there was a backlash of sorts against Green Book, but I wasn't exactly sure what it was. I'm going to say no, simply because Mahershala Ali and Viggo Mortensen have done very well in the pre-awards, or the pre-Academy Awards, and have pretty much swept all of them since the award season started. So I'm going to say it might hurt its Best Picture chances a little bit, but I don't think it's going to bother it much at all.
All right. Very in-depth analysis there of something that I don't know what either of you are talking about.
The Green Book,
I'll
Steve,
take your word on it.
One of the favorites of the year, a critical, absolute darling that you should make time to see. Mm-hmm. The other question now, Stan, I hope we're all in agreement here, because the problem with the Oscars, or for Steve, the Academy Awards.
Wait, which one are we talking about here? Hold on.
Has been its runtime for viewers. Right now, this is obviously a party with the wealthiest and the most beautiful people in the world patting each other on the back. That's not going to change. So they announced they were going to give a few awards away during commercial breaks this year, and now they've backtracked after some negative reaction about that. You have to be in favor of cutting some of these awards from the broadcast, right?
I kind of am, but I think the way they did it was sort of ham-handed. They really didn't take into consideration the fact that, since these awards were first televised, that they've shown all of these awards. If you're going to give out the technical Oscars, which are the Oscars before the Oscars, you might want to move some of those categories that they were talking about to the technical Oscars, since they are kind of related. But the way they handled it was just dumb, and they should have known it was going to blow up in their faces.
All I know is that if I turn on the Oscars or the Academy Awards, depending on which I'm in the mood for,
either show,
I'm going to be real disappointed if I don't see the award for Best Sound Mixing.
Yeah.
because my money is on Paul Massey, Tim Cavigan, and of course the third person whose name is cut off. But
we call him Massey and Company.
Sure,
here
yeah.
on the podcast.
I'm guessing you're talking about A Star Is Born?
No, you'd be wrong.
Oh.
You'd be wrong. It's Bohemian Rhapsody.
Bohemian. Well, they won an award, I think, just last night in a more from a group of sound mixers or something like that. So I would say that probably puts.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think that their only competition is from Steve Bodecker and Brandon for Black Panther.
That's right.
Brandon, it's like Cher.
Well, he's the Madonna of sound mixers. He just goes by Brandon.
Yeah. All right, so let's get to the awards that people really care about.
Well, before we get his full opinion, Steve, we need to now that Stan's ripped the Band-Aid off, we need to get right into this. Stan, you and I had a bit of a falling out this fall and winter on Twitter. You and I feuded. And I'm not going to apologize for that until I get the answer to this question that I need. And that question is, did you fix the world's biggest wrong, and did you go see A Star Is Born?
Well,
oh boy, this is bad.
It's available to stream now. So knowing I was going to join you today, I had plans to rent it and stream it and watch it so that I could right this wrong. I thought we were talking back about Law and Order there for a second, but
we were arguing about that too.
Yeah, you can't rent it yet. You have to buy it. And I'm not going to do that. So
Stan, if we buy it for you, you watch it, or if we send you a bootleg,
yeah.
How about we send you $7 so you can go to the local Cineplex and just watch it? It's still in theaters.
Well, it would be close to 10, but
all right.
Well, we're paying 70% of your fare.
Yeah,
okay,
exactly.
you meet us. We're going 70. You come 30.
It's only fair.
If you cover the cost of my large drink,
come on,
gas.
Jesus,
God's sake! You're a movie reviewer by trade. Stan the movie man, and for unknown reasons, I'm hurt, and I need to know what is your beef? Why have you steadfastly refused to see a movie that has been critically raved about, has been a massive commercial success, by all accounts appears to be a fan favorite? Why have you so steadfastly refused to see this?
Well, I'm a little against the idea of remaking the same movie 4 times. I know how it ends because I saw the 70s version.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, I do.
All right. Well, how about trying to resist the awesome power of this? Tell me something, girl.
Ooh.
Are you happy in this modern world?
There's a
or
lot
do
of
you need more?
There's a lot of interference on the phone line.
Look, you better shut your mouth, Stan. You shut your mouth. This is I'm starting to think that maybe you're not the expert we had hoped you were.
Run through these stupid categories with this stubborn-nosed idiot.
I can guarantee I am not the expert you were hoping for.
Okay. All right, so let's quickly we'll run through. Do you want to start with? We'll start with this one.
The big one.
The big one. The best documentary feature.
Oh, okay. Free Solo.
Oh, Free Solo.
No, that's the rock climbing film that everybody did love about too. Now, what did they climb, Stan?
That was Half Dome, right?
I believe it was
El Capitan,
El Capitan.
Yeah, El Capitan in Yosemite. The guy Alex Honnold, he free soloed, meaning he climbed the face of this mountain with no ropes or he had his hands, his feet, and chalk in a little pocket that he And it was like 3,000 feet or something.
Oh, it's crazy. Can we all agree, though, Stan, I'm sure you've seen it, that the Mr. Rogers documentary was unjustly shut out from this category?
I agree wholeheartedly.
I haven't seen it yet, and I need to see it because I heard it's fantastic.
Beautiful, and it will make you cry if you have a soul.
All right, so let's
Rip your heart out.
Move on to directing. We got Black Klansman, Cold War, The Favorite, Vice, and Roma. What do you say, Stan?
I'm going based on you see these categories are often decided not just on the quality of the film but also on the political climate.
Very true.
Not only the national political climate but the climate within Hollywood. And I have
very conservative Hollywood, very conservative there in Hollywood.
Oh yeah, boy, they really build that wall, build that. So I am going to put my money on Alfonso Cuarón for Roma as best director.
All right.
God, if you could stay awake during it, kudos to you.
All right. By the way, Stan, I'm keeping notes on all of your picks, and we will review this after the Academy Awards air, which to some people that is.
What
the
about
Oscars.
when? What? Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I'm glad you've gotten that straightened out.
You want to do this one? Or no?
God, no.
No, we're skipping over costume
By
design.
the way, Alfonso Bradley Cooper not being nominated in this category is bar none the biggest snub on the Academy / Oscars in a decade. There's no question in my mind.
But Stan wouldn't know.
Stan
How would he
wouldn't know? How could he even comment on the situation? So he better not. He better just shut his mouth and wait for the next category.
All right, the next category. I'm sorry, I thought I heard somebody talking, but his opinion
there
didn't
couldn't
matter.
possibly be because it would be an uninformed buffoon trying to chime in on something he has no knowledge about.
Well, all right, I'll save it for Best Picture when we get to that. Go ahead.
Okay, for animated feature film, I think that you already made the prediction that Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse was going to be the winner of that.
I believe I did, and I think it's because it is a unique looking film, which I think is as important. Now, Isle of Dogs is stop motion, which takes thousands of hours of work to move the little pieces, very minutely from frame to frame.
Right.
Which also is a different look from Incredibles 2 or Ralph Breaks the Internet. I think perhaps people are sick of the Disney powerhouse of Pixar and Disney animation.
Okay.
So I think chances are they've been given enough awards. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse.
All right, now we are into the big ones here. Best Actress in a Supporting Role. We have Amy Adams for Vice. Marina de Tavira for Roma.
Yeah.
Regina King in If Beale Street Could Talk. Rachel Weisz for The Favorite, and Emma Stone for The Favorite.
Well, I believe those two are going to cancel each other out. And also, they haven't gotten a whole lot of love in the earlier award ceremony. Amy Adams is always a bridesmaid, never a bride. Probably won't win this year either.
Take.
And Marina de Tavira, she, the film is getting a great deal of praise, but the individual actors are not getting much in the way of awards love. So, by process of elimination, I'm going with Regina King.
It's crazy that you say that the film is getting rave reviews, but the individual actors are not. How is that possible? How would that be possible? Like, the actors make up the film.
Well, I didn't say that the actors aren't getting rave reviews. I'm saying they're not getting much awards love.
Okay, all right.
There's a difference. So, people appreciate. That's more of an ensemble cast as well. In Roma. So nobody really. I mean, granted, 2 actresses were nominated, but nobody really sticks out.
All right, moving on to Best Actor in a Supporting Role. Oh boy,
I know who I'm pulling for.
Who you got? Oh, it's got
I know who you're polling for too. Yeah.
Who's that? Why don't you? Go ahead. Try and name off the who's up for the awards here. I'm not going to list them. You tell me. You tell me what your thoughts are.
You talking to me, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Mahershala Ali for Green Book is going to win. But this is a strong lineup this year. Adam Driver was great in Black Klansman. Sam Elliott
Snooze,
getting
yes.
sort of a career achievement nomination for A Star Is Born. Richard E. Grant, Can You Ever Forgive Me, is amazing in the part, also kind of a career achievement award. And Sam Rockwell, what else can you say? He's Sam Rockwell, and he's playing W. So, whew,
it's not the right Sam,
category.
though, unfortunately. Not the right Sam.
Mahershala Ali is going to take this one home.
Okay, you heard it here first, folks. Moving on now. Where's my mouse? There it is.
So
This is
lead actress, Stan. Lead actress in a major motion picture in a leading role.
You're really not going to like this one.
Oh, you're already making me mad.
Glenn Close for The Wife
Get him
will
outta
take
here.
that one home.
I'm so.
Gaga, Lady Gaga is impressive in what I've seen of.
How do you know? You just told us you didn't see it. You can't say she was impressive.
There are clips online.
Well,
Calm down, boys. Everything's fine. Look, I don't get paid to do this, all right? I just do this as a hobby. All right?
so
I am
good.
probably thousands of dollars in the hole with this stinking little project.
Look, we know the feeling. This podcast costs us money on a weekly basis.
That's exactly right. So you should know. Glenn Close has been racking up the pre-Oscar awards. So, again, it's a political thing, I think, for this one as well. So I think Glenn Close is going to win.
Actor in a leading role, Stan. Now watch your toes on this one, sir. You are dancing a fine line regarding this award.
All right, tell me, do you know how many times Bradley Cooper's been nominated for Best Actor?
0.
I think you're wrong. I think he was nominated for Silver Linings Playbook.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I can see that. That makes sense. I would have just assumed
And
0, but
I think he's also been nominated maybe one other time.
well, he was nominated for some critics awards. But you might be onto something there with the Silver Linings Playbook. But yeah, a few times. Let's say that.
So you're saying he's due for a win, is what you're saying, right?
He was nominated for Best Actor and nominated for Best Actor in Silver Linings Playbook, Best Supporting Actor in American Hustle.
Oh, this just in. He's also been nominated for the Lifetime Achievement Award in portraying a country music star so eloquently with a fantastic director and a wonderful actress in a supporting role. That's it. That's just in.
Stunning.
All right, so I think we agree this is the third time he's been nominated for an Oscar.
Yeah, for an acting Oscar, yes.
Yes. And the third time is not the charm.
Oh, you dirty man! I hate you!
What a bait and switch.
I hate you!
I haven't even heard of any of these other guys.
I'll be curious to hear where you go here, because it seems like Vice has lost a lot of momentum. And
Christian Bale? Who's even heard of that guy?
Snooze. What is he, Batman? Move it on. I'll be curious because obviously Vice lost some momentum, and Bohemian Rhapsody not very well regarded by a lot of critics.
But Rami Malek has been racking up the awards.
Get him out of here.
Along with Viggo Mortensen.
Oh, boy.
So this was a tough one because Christian Bale started strong. He won a Golden Globe. And Rami Malek has picked up various awards, as has Viggo Mortensen. Willem Dafoe was pretty much dead on arrival for these awards season. But I'm going with Rami Malek for Bohemian Rhapsody.
Boy. That one hurts.
All right, let's get to the last one. Best Picture, whatever.
Who
even cares anymore?
That is...
Is there a reason to live?
You know,
Well,
Stan,
look,
I feel like I'm in that garage next to Bradley Cooper right now.
You need to post a picture of that hair. I need an update on the hair.
Oh, it's glorious. Let me tell you,
I'm
it is
sure
glorious.
It is.
All right,
Is it
Stan.
as greasy and slimy looking?
No, it's
as
something. I gotta wash it less. I think so I can really build up the grease. But it's getting
you could
there.
just put some pomade on it.
Yeah,
just put some pomade or something in it.
Yeah, it's getting there. But see, I washed it yesterday, so now
it's floofy.
Oh, it's a puff.
Yeah, we're gonna have to fix that. Go sleep in a pizza box tonight. Grease that thing down for us, Steve.
I mean,
so the last category, Stan, obviously the big one, best motion picture this year. 8 nominees. Who's your favorite?
Well, let me tell you who isn't going to win.
Okay.
A Star is Born.
I hate you so much.
You son of a
You keep
Well,
these
what?
words
What?
ready. Put these words in a jar because in about 6 days you're going to eat them and you're going to feel like a real idiot.
Allow me to explain.
Okay, please do.
A Star is Born has lost momentum, I think, because it was released in October. Had it been released in December, I think it would be a little more in front as far as award season goes, because I think it's been out longer than pretty much all of these, with the exception of Black Klansman and Black Panther. And it just isn't... It's a good movie. I just don't think it is the transcendent movie that needs to win an Oscar.
Again, you don't know that it was a good movie because you didn't see it.
And it wasn't good.
Well,
it was the best.
Look, it's got a man with glorious hair. It's got a woman that can sing like the songbirds of yesteryear. And you're stepping on that and spitting in their face, Stan. Spitting in their face!
I hope you feel terrible. You're ruining days. You're ruining weeks. You're ruining lives.
Yeah, 2 in particular.
Oddly enough, no, I don't feel bad at all. I believe, based on history and the climate, Roma is going to win Best Oscar.
Oh
boy.
God, how out of touch
Best
can they be?
Ugh, I have never heard of that movie.
I can go watch it on Netflix, and if you need to take a 2.5-hour nap.
Now, Stan, I have to ask you, being the movie and viewing aficionado, have you seen, I'm actually surprised this wasn't nominated for an Oscar, have you seen Springsteen on Broadway?
I have not seen it yet. I do want... calm down. Just calm down. Please. There's only so many hours in the day.
Well,
all right?
look, there are
There's a lot of
certain
stuff
times
to
when you
see.
have to make time for certain things that are better than others. You can quote me on that.
Thank you. I appreciate the permission. I want to see it because I heard his interview with Mark Maron on his podcast WTF.
Yeah.
And he just seems like a fascinating individual who's had a life that I don't think many other people can even begin to understand. And hearing him talk about it in song and in word between the songs, it will be fascinating. I just haven't had a chance yet. There's so much stuff.
Fantastic. Well, Stan,
Am I forgiven?
I suppose.
No,
Oh, okay.
never.
Well, if Kyle says no, then I know Steve's got to go along with it. So.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just the toady that agrees with anything that Kyle says. Yeah.
Now, Stan,
Yeah, me and Kyle agree on everything.
Yeah,
Now,
I know. Yeah.
Stan, I'm sure you'll be doing a full wrap-up. You can find Stan the Movie Man again at Movie Man Stan on Twitter, StanTheMovieMan.com, and I believe you do a weekly podcast at The Fractured Frame. You'll be doing sure, a full write-up after the awards.
Well, we'll definitely discuss it. I kind of have to follow along with what my co-hosts want to do, and sometimes it's like herding cats. Sometimes, but yes, the Fractured Frame is a weekly podcast where we talk about everything in entertainment, or many things, and you can find that wherever you get podcasts.
Well, we look forward to, after the Oscars / Academy Awards air, to reading over your predictions, most of them being wrong, and then throwing that back in your face.
That's fine. Call me up and tell me what an idiot I am. Because you know what? None of this matters. None of it.
Stan, this is very important. This is very, very important.
I've never been invested in anything as much as I am Bradley Cooper, Lady Gaga, and everything winning from that movie. You understand?
It's just something to fill the time until we die.
Oh, that is a morbid way.
You know? Whew. I mean, I don't have kids. I've got a dog that's old and pees everywhere, and that pretty much fills my day.
That is more depressing than Jackson, Maine, hanging from a rafter. Spoiler alert.
Well, yeah.
I mean, sorry. Well, you know what? Sorry, I know you haven't seen it yet, but...
Oh, but he knew the ending, Steve.
He dies.
Yeah, I know how it ends. Yeah, I've seen the movie before. There's a chance I could have seen it 5 times already.
Please, world, help us shame Stan the Movie Man. That's at Movie Man Stan on Twitter. Shame him into watching A Star Is Born before the Oscars this upcoming Sunday night. And also follow him at Movie Man Stan. Find him on the Fractured Frame podcast. I'm sure you can find that wherever podcasts are found. Listen to that right after you finish our episode every week.
Stan, thank you very much for taking the call this morning, joining us, giving us your movie expertise, even though it is incredibly flawed. We still enjoyed our time with you.
I don't argue with your assessment that I am flawed in many, many ways at all, and I appreciate the opportunity.
All right, Stan, take care. Have a good one.
Bye.
See you, buddy. Oh, Stan.
So wrong.
Couldn't be more wrong.
It's amazing how wrong and how, coming from one of the easiest, I just go with the flow. Mm-hmm. Boy, what a stubborn idiot that guy is.
Well, Stan, we appreciate it. We look forward to
love talking to him,
to proving you wrong.
Fast 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, I think I'm going to go first this week.
Yes, sir.
First, most importantly, Kurt Angle.
Kind of sad to watch, Steve.
His retirement match could be at WrestleMania.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But, this is a guy who has half retired, non-retired for 10 years.
All right, next, Valentine's Day.
Oh, boy.
The holiday of love and Cupid and chocolate.
Just a lovely celebration for me and my wife and our son this year on Valentine's Day.
I'm glad to hear that you're not one of those people that, it's just a Hallmark holiday. I don't celebrate that because
it's created by the company.
I mean, they just did it to sell cards.
I love year.
My wife doesn't want anything for Valentine's Day.
Just shut up, all of you.
All right, third, I need an Oscars prediction for A Star Is Born. I need to know how much hardware they're going to be taking home.
I think it will win actress for Lady Gaga.
Really? So you don't see Bradley Cooper? You don't see Best Picture?
I think Best Picture fell apart when he wasn't nominated for Best Director, which is sad. I do think it should win Best Picture, and I honestly think it should win the top 3 awards. I do think Lady Gaga will win. I don't think Bradley Cooper will win. I don't think it'll win Best
Are they performing the song?
Yes.
They are doing it, right?
Together. Yep,
okay.
Together. That's Shallow on the Oscars live Sunday night.
Fourth, Colin Kaepernick.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Really good for him.
Reports that the settlement was like $60 million.
60 to 80 million possible for him in this collusion lawsuit against the NFL.
That's
good for him.
Insane. And fifth, we're in the midst of a national emergency.
We shouldn't be doing this podcast right now. I think that's safe to say.
We should be marching to the border.
We should be caravanning.
To the border, arms in hand.
Yep.
Ready to just shoot anyone that doesn't look like us as they walk over the wall.
Yeah, this sounds like this is going to be a legal battle that is not going to go the way of the president. So I
said within hours, like 2 lawsuits were already filed.
And it's opening a can of worms. A similar can of worms was opened when they decided to not vote on a Supreme Court candidate in the last year of Barack Obama's presidency. And now this can of worms that if you want your money and you can't get it, you just declare a national emergency and take it. That has been opened. So we will see how the courts handle this. But again, it doesn't seem like it's going to go the way of Donald Trump.
Before that, we had Colin Kaepernick. The big news the other day was that his collusion lawsuit, well, it was him and
Eric Reed, safety, who is currently playing for the Carolina Panthers. You settled out of court. Supposed to be
completely hush-hush.
Yep.
NFLPA said that they were happy with the outcome, even though they don't know the terms of it. They were happy that it was settled. What does this mean for Kaepernick? Does this mean that he is now officially blacklisted from the NFL?
Yeah, I mean, if he was going to get a job, it would have happened before now anyway. This is I think he's done playing football, whether that be because that's the way he wants it, or in the NFL's case, that's the way it seems like it's going to go. The report was this week that the American Alliance of Football contacted him to play,
and he said he wanted $20 million.
The reports are that he asked for $20 million, which doesn't make any sense.
Their players signed 3-year, $250,000 contracts.
Yep, so $80,000 a year,
$80,000 a year.
He wanted 3,000 or 300 times what players are getting there. If that report is accurate. Could be, could not be. He doesn't speak very much, so nobody really knows. It seems, though, with this settlement, he's financially set. He doesn't really have any reason to play football anymore.
Right. Yeah, that's crazy, though. I wonder, 60 to 80 million. I wonder who gets the majority. Does he get the majority of that? Does he split it?
He probably does. It will be split with Eric Reed. Those were the two main complainants in the lawsuit. I think it's just a bad look for the NFL owners. They essentially paid hush money, and I know it's not an admission of any guilt because that's the point of a settlement. You're not admitting anything either way, but the tea leaves were there that if this had gone to court in front of a judge or a jury for a civil lawsuit, they thought they were going to lose, and by settling for 60 to 80 million, they obviously had the fear that they were going to lose quite a bit more than that.
Before that, we had your Oscars prediction for A Star Is Born.
Yeah, I'm hoping for more, and I was disappointed in the way it performed at the Golden Globes.
What about our buddy Sam Elliott? Sam Elliott, he's not getting Best Supporting.
It's been a runaway from Mahershala Ali in every award show that's been there. I haven't seen The Green Book. I just know there's controversy around it. But he has been running away with every award for that category around the globe. So I would love to see Sam Elliott was probably
fantastic.
He was the one. He tugged on the heartstrings in a few moments in that movie more than a lot of actors can do in a lifetime. But when he's backing away from Jackson Maine's garage after Jackson apologizes to him and he's peeling out because he's about to cry, and he does, absolutely incredible performance. So glad to see him nominated. Long career. He knows, though, he's done interviews. Like, I'm not winning. I'm glad to be there, glad to be nominated, but I'm not winning.
That's a shame. I hope he does, though. Before that, we had Valentine's Day. Cupid, hearts, arrows,
love everywhere.
Yeah,
candies and chocolates. We didn't do anything this year, Steve.
No. Well, your situation's a little different.
Yeah,
this
it was
year.
A little different. Katie was gone most of the day, and with picking the boy the read up at babysitters' houses and stuff. Things are a little bit hectic, so we didn't really do anything this year. But I am, like you said, I'm not one of those. I hate it because I'm supposed to, because I'm a man.
Yeah.
That's a stupid policy and a stupid way to treat life.
We did. Annette had a performance that night, so we couldn't do anything that. We did that night. We had a heart-shaped pizza from the local pizza place. Fantastic.
Oh, you're lucky we're out of time because I have to lecture you about what your plans were initially about Valentine's Day.
Well, we celebrated Valentine's Day yesterday.
Save it. We are going to get to this.
It was the greatest meal ever cooked. Fantastic all around. Can't see why anybody would have any problem with what we ate. And it was awesome. And we will talk about that next week.
This is the top discussion that we're getting to next week on this podcast because I still think I'm right.
And first on my list was Kurt Angle.
Yeah, he's getting up there.
Olympic wrestler.
Yeah.
Turned WWE superstar. Yeah, he was a gold medalist,
Gold
right?
medalist with a broken freaking neck is how he won his gold medal. That was his kind of rallying cry in the WWE. He's been teasing that he's going to retire. I don't know if it'll happen. Man, wrestlers do this and they don't do this all the time. It seems like, we've all seen The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. It seems like a lot of these guys just wrestle until they die, and I don't know if Kurt Angle's one of those guys, but he's a guy who's battled all types of addiction issues over the years, seems to be in a really good place and just wants to wrestle. But it's a guy who, outside of those addictions and things for years and years, he hasn't known anything else. So, rumored that he's going to be retiring here in the next month or so. He doesn't really have anything brewing story-wise, so I'd be surprised if this is without a big send-off for him, which is the proper way to do it.
All right, that's it on my list. Yeah.
Fast 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Amazon, the Amazon headquarters.
Oh, yeah, they were supposed to... They backed out of opening one in New York City,
New York City, gone. They have pulled the plug on it officially with no plans to open a second one anywhere now.
What was the... Because I saw that was a headline, but I didn't know what the deal was.
To get those details, stick around for the turnaround.
Okay.
Second, the national emergency, Steve. You're heading up. I saw you've got the Jeep packed.
Yeah, right now...
Just gun barrels sticking out of every window.
Got my fatigues on right now. I'm... shooting anyone that comes near me. You nearly got shot this morning when you walked in the door. Bullet grazed right by your ear.
I've been told to honk in a certain pattern when I pull in to know, so you know that it's me.
Right, yeah. Yeah, it's very dangerous out there.
Everybody,
very dangerous.
Watch your six. Mm-hmm. After that, Jussie Smollett. This has been a big story the last few weeks. He's the Empire actor, Steve. Does that ring your bell anymore?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You've been following the most recent updates on this
No,
last
I haven't.
few days?
No.
To get those details, you have to stick around for the turnaround.
Okay.
Matt Kuchar, golfer Matt Kuchar.
Oh, is he the one that tipped his caddy like 0.003%?
I want to say this happened about 2 months ago. I want to say we talked about this a couple of months ago.
It definitely
in the
happened a couple of months ago. From what I saw, he won... his caddy could not come with him for whatever reason, for personal reasons.
A tournament in Mexico. He ended up winning like $1.3 million or something like that. Yeah, he won the tournament, which the winning purse was 1.2 or 1.3 million.
So he had gone down there, hired a caddy, and basically agreed to a payment structure in advance. He said, okay, if we do this, you get this much. If I do this, you get this much.
Yep.
And then the caddy was not pleased with the money that was agreed upon after the guy won the tournament.
Well, in his defense, he's never come out and said anything. The caddy himself. Okay. He's a local tour a local caddy for that golf course who Matt Kuchar hired, and Matt Kuchar paid him $5,000. Offered after the win to pay him $15,000 more, and the reports are that the caddy said no, but nobody's really heard from this guy. A ton of public pressure. Matt Kuchar doubled down on those comments earlier in the week, making him seem like quite a jerk. But to hear the outcome of the story, Steve.
You'll have to wait for the turnaround.
Lastly, Colin Kaepernick.
Good for him. The guy...
He was blackballed. There's almost no doubt in my mind that he was blackballed out of the league.
And by calling them out on it...
Yeah.
That's a death sentence for your career in that league. So he had to be so sure, but also so content with his decision to call them out that he knew he would never play in the league again.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you make that accusation, who's going to say, "Hey, come and work for us now"?
Right, and it's a look that he knew what was going to happen, like you said, but at that point, what's the difference? He's already he was not getting work and getting tryouts, but the tryouts get canceled, things like that. I've seen some names in this league, and I'm obviously not a football guru, but I watch a lot of football. To tell me he is not one of the best 64 to 75 quarterbacks in football is a lie.
Crazy.
So
I would love for my team to sign him.
Yeah,
I would love for any team to sign him. 2 years. I'd be so much more involved in watching football games if I knew that he was playing again.
2 years prior to his being blackballed from the league, he brought his team to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
Or to a championship game. So it's not like he was very far removed from being a serviceable quarterback, even on a backup level. So between this and the Nike deal, yeah, boy, he is quite a windfall for him in the last year.
He's probably made a couple bucks.
A couple of dollars have come his way, and he's not getting hit in the head.
Yeah, that's true. So reports that it was, I think, from Fox Sports said anywhere from $60 to $80 million, even though it was completely confidential and sealed. But yeah, good for him.
Before that, Matt Kuchar, the golfer who stiffed the caddy, he ended up, after doubling down on his comments earlier in the week, saying that he doesn't feel bad about it at all, and he did what he should have done. The patrons on the golf course of the tournament he was at this week felt a bit differently.
Oh, did they take up a collection?
There were some chants, some sayings, and I think that finally got to him, mixed with some media pressure, and he is completing a $50,000 payment to this caddy down in Mexico. Still short of the 10% that the standard is, but for a fill-in caddy with an agreement, $50,000 should be more than enough to appease everybody.
I think I have to side with the golfer on this, because if they met in advance, which by all accounts that's how it happened. He got to town, he said, I need a caddy. A caddy presented himself. He said, if I don't make the cut, you make $1,000. If I do, you make. It was like it was tiered. It was $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000. If I win the tournament, you got $5,000.
Sure.
So if that is how it happened, and he went on to win the tournament, he owes the guy $5,000. Or no, I think it was up to $4,000.
Okay.
And then he won the tournament, so technically he owed the guy $4,000. He gave him $5,000. That is, I mean, yeah, it seems like it's not enough, but if the guy agreed to it, it would be like if I had an opening at my company and I said, Kyle, we want to hire you. I want to hire you for $3,000 a year. Mm-hmm. If you accept that, I mean that's it's not a lot of money, but
sure,
you accepted it.
To the letter of what appears to be agreed upon. Sure, I get it. But you're in the caddy's position. That's obviously more money than he's probably ever seen on the golf course, right?
Yeah, they said he typically makes about $200 a day.
And secondly, he's in a spot where there's a good chance Matt Kuchar, or a golfer, came up, said, hey, I need a caddy. Are you the guy or are you not the guy? He says no to $5,000. Kuchar's walking to the next guy who's going to say yes to $5,000. Mm-hmm. So the caddy's probably, I better take the guaranteed money. I don't know if it's written in contract form that he's going to get this much for each structure. It's probably discussed. I just think the general principle is multi-millionaire golfer Matt Kuchar.
Yeah.
And nobody's asking him to give him the full $130,000.
Yeah, you know something? I'm always very torn on that because, the guy's got millions of dollars in the bank. But he worked for it.
Oh, sure.
He earned
He's
that
the talented
money.
golfer in the situation.
He's not, just because he has a lot of money doesn't mean he's obligated to give a lot of money.
It's just a bad look PR-wise.
It is.
That, that's the proverbial drop in a bucket for him to give an extra. And even this, giving him an extra $45,000 is...
I wonder what that would equate to, like what his net worth is,
right?
And how that would equate to you and me. It would probably be a matter of like, me giving you $20 or $60.
Yeah, obviously not noticeable at all. They have his net worth estimated to be between 20 to 25 million. So 20 million. Let's even if we put that on the low end, Steve, that is. $45,000 out of $20 million.
So
that's another couple zeros. That is 0.225% of his net worth. So, out of whatever you're worth, that's probably pretty darn accurate. That's pennies, less than pennies on the dollar of what Matt Kuchar has.
In my situation, if I win this tournament and I got $1.3 million, I'm giving the guy $50,000
easily, right? Because at that point you're in a good mood.
But I don't feel obligated to give the guy $50,000. Now, if he was if he was a crappy caddy and he just like, handed him a club every now and then, said like, yeah, don't hit it in the water.
Yeah.
Then no, I'm probably not. But I don't know. That's weird. It's one of those things like he did exactly what he was
supposed to do, or
said
he would do.
Yeah. So
it just made him look like a cheapskate.
It does.
Before that, the national emergency. We talked about that quite extensively. Steve,
hold up. We're under attack as we speak. We have to end the podcast right now because the people are coming across the border.
They're racing and
killing everybody.
Yeah,
with drugs and
raping our women,
murdering
with guns, taking our jobs.
Everyone's basically dead.
3 things that have been happening pretty routinely.
I heard California's gone. Like everyone there died in the last couple days. It's a shame.
Just like a zombie invasion that you see in like the videos where they start slowly overtaking more territory. That's what's been happening.
And then like the spider cells pop up and they start spreading.
Yep. And then the next thing you know, Oklahoma's gone. Mm-hmm. That's how it all starts. And lastly, Amazon
100 times.
Pulling their second headquarters out of New York City after quite a bit of pressure from the public and residents there that they didn't want it. So they're pulling it from New York City with no plans to add another one.
So they don't want it there for what reason? Just because of the poor working conditions of Amazon employees? Or
no, New York offered them $3 billion in tax breaks.
Okay.
For a company. So they're essentially going to be getting paid to make this headquarters. They promised 25,000 jobs, but there was no real evidence of where those jobs were going to come from or if they'd exist. So I believe state Congress or some politicians were pushing to renegotiate some of those tax breaks. The report is that Amazon said, nope, you either stick with the tax breaks that you had initially said, or we're just going to pull up roots and be gone. And that's what happened. So they are now just going to build their second headquarters, HQ2, in, I believe, Virginia is where they're doing it. And they're scrapping the New York one altogether with no plans to add a third one. Yeah, I mean, the public pressure against Amazon has really changed, right? I love Amazon.
Me too.
But it sounds like the working conditions aren't great. The report was this past week they made $11 billion last year and paid $0 in federal taxes.
Yeah. See, this is another one where I'm very torn on it when people are always getting on Jeff Bezos because he's the richest person in the world or whatever. And then they say, but some of his employees are making $8-9 an hour. Well, he's not obligated to share his wealth.
Sure. And it's the same as McDonald's.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's the same with every large corporation. Some people are making this. Some people are making more. Some people are making more than that. It's the corporate structure of everybody, and that's a whole nother podcast talking about wealth inequality and the gap in this country.
Boy, that's going to be a good one.
You stay tuned. Wait. We'll announce that in advance so you can all unsubscribe in due time.
Yeah, so for the Economicast. Looking forward to that one.
That's right. 2 of us with maybe 6 college credits total of basic level economics. We're going to break down.
Did you take 6 credits worth?
I thought I took 3. You took 3?
No.
Upwards.
You know something? I nearly had to take microeconomics.
Listen, my mom went to one of those Carnegie classes like 20 years ago.
So you basically wrote the book.
Yeah, we'll get her on, break down, styles of management, and ask her about the wealth gap in this country. Okay. And we're going to, that's right, the Economicast.
Economicast.
Coming soon to the Lispin Network.
Is that it?
That's it.
Are we at the end of the...
That's it. Well, we got to go. We got a violinist coming in about to bang on a wall with an instrument.
The violin, I should have told you 1 hour and 50 minutes ago. Practice was canceled.
Oh, we're here anyway. It's like we were going to stop.
So, I mean, we can just...
You want to keep going? You want to get right into the economics?
The Economicast. Looking forward to that. Hey, thanks for listening.
How do you fix the wealth gap, Steve? There's just a lot of avenues.
Thanks so much for listening this week. This was a lot of fun. Download, subscribe, and review the show on iTunes, the Apple Podcast app, Google Play, TuneIn, Stitcher, YouTube, Libsyn, Spotify. You can call or text your questions or comments or concerns 424-30-SK-POD. That's 424-307-5763.
Please do, because we do promise.
Yeah,
something else is coming for this. please send those questions. You can text them or voicemail at that number, 424-30-SK-POD. Please do that.
We have a bunch of texts and some voicemails to get to at some point. You can follow us on Twitter at Steve and Kyle, Facebook.com/Steve and Kyle, and on Instagram at Steve and Kyle. We try to post like weekly web polls. So if you want to check those out, it's greatly appreciated. It's always fun to interact with everyone. Big thanks to Stan the Movie Man. Do you have all of his info? I know it's at Movie Man Stan.
Yeah, at Movie Man Stan on Twitter, StanTheMovieMan.com. His reviews are also on, I want to say it's 103.5. That's a radio station in Knoxville, Tennessee.
Nice.
The Fractured Frame podcast can be found wherever you listen to your podcast. That's him and a couple guys talking about entertainment and all the news about entertainment. So be sure to check that out. Our good friend Stan the Movie Man.
Yeah, at Movie Man Stan on Twitter. Show him a little bit of love. Other than that, we'll talk to you next week. We have me and Annette's Valentine's Day will be the topic of discussion.
Boy, am I
right
fired
off the
up.
bat. We'll talk to you next week then. See ya.